The Piano Teacher is often described as an erotic film, but that label completely misunderstands what the movie is actually doing. There is nothing erotic about it in any conventional sense. What the film presents instead is a brutal psychological portrait of a woman who has been shaped and almost destroyed by a lifetime of control, criticism, and emotional violence. Erica is a deeply disturbed woman, but not in the way audiences often assume. She was raised in an environment ruled by hatred and constant judgment. Her mother controls every aspect of her life, infantilizing her well into adulthood and reducing her value to one thing, her talent. In that environment, Erica learns that love is humiliation and pain. Affection comes from criticism, control, and emotional blows. As a result, the only form of power she understands is the power to recreate those same patterns herself. Control becomes the only way she can feel safe. When someone enters her life and desires her in a way she has never experienced before, she simply cannot process it. Walter represents something completely foreign to Erica: sexual attraction, youth, and possibility. Instead of freeing her, this terrifies her. She rejects him with violence, hurling insults and pushing him away physically because the intensity of her own desire disgusts her. She hates him for being beautiful, confident, and kind, qualities that highlight everything she believes she lacks. Her attraction to him awakens something she has spent most of her life repressing, but more than anything, she desires control. She wants to dominate the situation, to dictate the terms of intimacy before it hurts her. The disturbing fantasies she shares with Walter are not expressions of erotic pleasure, they are attempts to reclaim her freedom. If she chooses the hurt, if she plans it, then perhaps it actually belongs to her. Even if those desires seem grotesque or extreme, they are hers. They are imperfect, but the same disordered way she has learned to survive. Walter's presence slowly breaks down the walls Erica has built around herself. He pushes against the boundaries she carefully constructed, and the pressure drives her nearly insane. She simultaneously wants to let him in and desperately wants to shut him out. The constant presence of her mother looms over everything, a reminder of the suffocating lack of autonomy that shaped her. At one point in the movie, Erica literally has to barricade her bedroom door against her mother, a moment that symbolizes the psychological barricade she tries to put against anyone who attempts to get close to her. Despite everything, Erica is deeply lonely. She craves intimacy, touch, sexuality, but her understanding of these things are warped beyond recognition. She believes she wants to be hurt, to be degraded, to be dominated, yet beneath this desire may exist the opposite longing. The longing to finally experience tenderness and acceptance. Maybe all she craves is to stop being judged. Because she has internalized so much shame and self-disgust, she cannot accept the possibility of love. Wanting something pure only intensifies her self-loathing, and so she retreats further into fantasies of pain. Also, I think it's important to note that the dynamic between Erica and her student Anna and Anna's mother mirrors Erica's own upbringing perfectly. Talent becomes everything. If you are not exceptional, you are nothing. Erica repeats the cruelty she experienced because it's the only language of authority she knows. In this way, the film shows how cycles of emotional abuse replicate themselves across generations of people. When Erica finally confesses her desires to Walter, a tear runs down her face. She explains that she had waited for someone like him for years, someone strong and sexually powerful enough to fulfill the strange and painful role she has imagined. But what she really is confessing is her vulnerability. She is exposing the most broken part of herself, hoping someone might understand it. And I think the final stretch of the film is really hard to watch. By this point, there's nothing erotic about the story at all. By the end of the story, it becomes a portrait of psychological collapse. Erica's carefully constructed world burns down. It feels like watching someone slowly destroy themselves, powerless to intervene. Walter ultimately gives her the one kind of violence she cannot control. When their relationship turns brutal and he assaults her, the fantasy she built for herself shatters. The pain she thought she wanted becomes real in a way she never anticipated. The structure she created to rationalize her suffering collapses completely. We can also argue that a lot of Erica's fantasies came from the pornographic content that she was consuming. She went to all male porno shops and she watched movies in which girls were acting and they were being hurt, but they had so much fun and they looked like they were enjoying themselves. And I think her being so infantilized, closed off from the rest of the world, she just imagined that this is what she wanted, that she would feel as much ecstasy as these actresses seem to have. And then she realized it was all just acting. And she's been acting her whole life to please other people. And this is not what she wants. She never truly wanted any of it. Her fantasies of pain were an attempt to justify the suffering she has already endured for years. If pain was her choice, then perhaps her mother's cruelty and judgment would mean something. Perhaps it had shaped her into the person she was meant to be. In the end, all that remains is a lonely, deeply wounded woman who wanted to feel something after years of emotional numbness. By the end of the film, there's no romance, sensuality, or triumph, only raw psychological devastation. The film strips away every illusion the characters and the audience might have about the desire, control, and intimacy, because it's not a story about that. It's a story about performing. Erica has spent her entire life performing like a trained monkey or a court jester. She plays the piano for the admiration of others, valued only for her talent and discipline. No one asks her how she feels. No one cares who she is beyond what she can produce. Walter initially seems different, but he too is drawn to what Erica represents rather than who she truly is. Like moths to a flame, people are attracted to her brilliance and intensity without understanding that there's a damaged person beneath it. What makes Erica such a powerful character is her complexity. She's a fully fleshed out human being shaped by repression, loneliness, and internalized cruelty. Her actions are disturbing at times, but also tragically understandable. The actress did an amazing job of conveying all the small, difficult parts of her character, and I still think to this day she's one of the best written characters of all time. By the end of the film, Erica realizes that she knows herself as little as anyone else does.